Good evening and welcome to Phantom Trails, where tonight you'll feel a distinct chill in the air as we venture into the desolate heart of history to look at some of the world's most haunted castles. Stones that whisper terrible secrets and mortar that bears the weight of much darker times. Are they architectural wonders, playgrounds for tourists, or silent sentinels to long-forgotten horrors? Pull up the drawbridge, turn out the lights and prepare to be chilled. Our descent into darkness begins at Edinburgh Castle. Built on a volcanic crag in the 12th century, its very foundations are steeped in centuries of brutal warfare, political upheaval and horrific executions. Unsurprisingly, as well as being one of Scotland's most iconic landmarks, it's also said to be one of its most haunted, with quite a variety of ghosts sighted within the castle walls. One of the most frequently spotted is that of the Grey Lady, who is said to roam the gloomy hallways and dungeon. There are some who believe this to be the spirit of Marie de Guise, mother of Mary Queen of Scots, whose body was kept in St Margaret's Chapel for 9 months before being moved to France. However, another chilling theory is that the weeping figure is actually Janet Douglas, Lady Glamis, who was falsely accused of witchcraft and burnt at the stake in 1537. One thing that's for certain is that those once imprisoned within Edinburgh Castle are responsible for a substantial portion of the paranormal activity. Terrified castle workers have reported being harassed on several occasions by the spectral figures of Napoleonic prisoners in the Queen Anne Tower. There's also a spirit known as the Dung Prisoner, whose presence is accompanied by a foul smell. According to legend, this restless soul attempted to escape by hiding in a dung cart, only to meet his grim fate when he was dumped over the castle walls. In fact, if you're visiting Edinburgh Castle, you'd be wise to keep all your senses sharp. In times of national crisis, it's said that the ghost of a headless drummer can be heard echoing through the building, warning of impending doom. There's also a lone piper, whose haunting melodies drift through the subterranean tunnels, along with a spectral dog who's been heard and seen around the castle's pet cemetery. As you can imagine, these strange reports have turned Edinburgh Castle into a mecca for paranormal investigators over the years, and they haven't been disappointed. During a research project in 2001, a ghostly figure in a leather apron was seen by multiple witnesses walking through doorways in the vaults of the castle. Whether these are lingering energies, tricks of the mind in shadowed halls, or something more, Edinburgh Castle continues to capture the imagination. For the curious and the brave, tours are even available after dark, promising a glimpse into the possible spectral inhabitants of this historic landmark. Bran Castle. And now we travel east to the land of shadowed forests and whispered nightmares, Romania. Bran Castle, often connected to the Dracula legend, stands as a monument to a bygone era of cruelty. Built in the 14th century as a defensive outpost against the Ottoman Empire, the castle later fell under the control of Vlad the Impaler. Vlad's reign of terror is legendary, although there are many who believe the legend lives on within the shadowy castle walls. Inside, the air hangs heavy and thick with an unseen oppression. Visitors have reported an overwhelming sense of dread and a feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. Shadows writhe in the corners, whispers echo in forgotten hallways, and there are plenty who claim to have seen a tall, imposing figure with piercing red eyes flit through the halls. One of the most famous spectral inhabitants of this imposing Gothic construction is the White Lady. Believed to be a noblewoman who died tragically within the castle walls, she is often seen in a flowing white gown near the chapel and courtyard. Witnesses have reported a sudden drop in temperature accompanying her presence, adding to the chilling atmosphere. Also in the vicinity of the chapel, visitors have reported hearing faint whispers and footsteps echoing through the empty halls, and some have even felt a cold hand brushing against them. Legend has it that this restless spirit belongs to a monk who was once bricked up alive as punishment for breaking his vows. But perhaps one of the most unsettling phenomena at Bran Castle is the sound of children's laughter. Local lore tells of a massacre during a siege where many children lost their lives. Today, their spirits are believed to live on in the castle grounds. Visitors have described hearing playful laughter in the courtyards and witnessing ghostly children's figures playing hide and seek amongst the trees, only to vanish into thin air. Beyond these specific apparitions, Bran Castle is rife with unexplained phenomena. Paranormal investigators have captured mysterious orbs and shadows in their photographs, while EVP recordings have picked up unidentifiable whispers and cries. Flickering lights, sudden gusts of cold air, and the sensation of being watched are common experiences for those who dare to explore the castle. And finally, we find ourselves deep within the unforgiving Czech forests at Houska Castle. Unlike our previous locations, Houska wasn't built on a site of historical bloodshed or conquest. In fact, its location seems almost arbitrary, perched atop a large rocky outcrop with no strategic value and far from any major trade routes. However, local folklore tells a chilling tale. Houska Castle was built not to house royalty or repel invaders, but to suppress a gateway to hell itself. A bottomless pit emanating an unnatural chill and rumoured to be a conduit for demonic entities lay beneath the chosen site. The castle, some believe, was constructed as a giant charm to keep those infernal energies at bay, its thick walls and inward-facing defences designed to hold back the darkness. Whether a literal gateway to hell or simply a geological oddity, the pit beneath Houska Castle has fostered quite a reputation for malevolent activity. Prisoners lowered into its depths by rope emerged, if at all, gibbering mad or aged beyond their years. Strange lights and inhuman screeching have been reported in the vicinity, and some claim to have seen monstrous forms clawing their way out of the abyss before being inexplicably dragged back down. The castle itself is no less unsettling. Visitors have reported feelings of dread and despair washing over them as they enter. Shadow figures flit at the edge of vision, disembodied voices whisper in unfamiliar tongues, and the air is thick with the stench of sulphur. Spectral hounds are said to prowl the halls, and on nights when the castle is enveloped by a thick fog, a terrifying black carriage driven by a headless coachman is rumoured to circle the grounds. Houska Castle stands as a monument to the unseen and the unknown, a place where the veil between reality seems thinnest and the whispers of the damned brush against the ears of the living. And that concludes our tour of some of the most haunted castles across the globe. Have these tales sent shivers down your spine? Would you dare to enter these bastions of the supernatural? If you've had a ghostly experience whilst visiting a castle, why not tell us about it in the comments below? And the next time you visit a historic landmark, remember, there may be more to the shadows than meets the eye. Until next time, pleasant nightmares.